Hello guys, this is the Fifth Down Huddle. It's a great day today. Today is Wednesday, February 12th, and this video should be out Thursday, February 13th. But today, I'm going to ask you real quick to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you like the video. And subscribe if you like my other videos as well as this one. But either way, let's huddle up and let's get right into it. So, as you've seen by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about the New York Guardians. I just finished watching the Guardians versus the Vipers game. I recorded it, so I was able to watch it again. I watched it live, but I wasn't paying super close attention to it, so I decided to watch it again. And, well, the Guardians are good. They're good. They're not great, but they're good, and they're good for the XFL. I mean, in comparison to other XFL teams, they're pretty good. But the Guardians quarterback, McGloin, he threw badly under pressure. I really noticed that. That was kind of something that really popped out to me. And he wasn't a completely accurate guy. When pressure came his way, he forced it into coverage rather than throwing it away a lot. I mean, on the first drive of the game, there were 2 occasions in which he experienced a lot of pressure, which means the defensive line is kind of closing in the pocket. It's getting tight, and he has to make a decision quick. He often threw the ball into tight coverage, and there were a lot of times, maybe 3 or 4 in just the first half, where McGloin had some throws that could have been intercepted. And it wasn't even on 3rd down or 4th down in a situation where he needed to get the first down, or he felt the need to. Sometimes even on 1st down, it's like just throw the ball away. But it was good to see the passing game strong on the first 2 drives for the Guardians. I mean, the Guardians' pass game was pretty strong throughout the entire game. A lot of moments in the game, I noticed that receivers were open deep, and McGloin, he'd throw it deep, and it would be on target, but the problem is you wouldn't hit him on the run. So, I mean, right before half, there was a throw where McGloin threw it deep down the right side, right on the sideline to his receiver, and if he had hit him on the run, it would have been a touchdown to end the half, but instead it set up a field goal. I mean, inevitably, the Guardians went on to win, but just small things like that where I feel like McGloin needs to improve on, where he needs to start throwing much more accurately deep. He threw really accurately short and medium, but on those deep balls, he's got to work on getting them open. There was another throw in the second half where number 3 receiver, I think his name's Pearson, he was running a post in from the left side of the field, going all the way across the middle, deep route. And McGloin, if he had thrown it right in the middle of the end zone, it would have been a touchdown because Pearson had a step on his man. I mean, he burnt him, but McGloin threw it short, so Pearson had to kind of slow down, step back, and that gave the defender enough time to make a play on it. And against better teams that are better than the Vipers, I think the Guardians are really going to need to focus on winning those big plays, because those receivers can make big plays. We saw that. But it's up to McGloin to throw him a good ball. Yeah, subtle things like that kind of remind me of the difference between the XFL and the NFL starting quarterback. McGloin had a lot of open receivers, and he didn't throw a whole ton of tight windows, I noticed. And I don't mean that as a way to jab at McGloin. I want to see him throw some accurate balls into tight windows. I want to see kind of tight coverage, a game where his receivers aren't getting as much separation as they were on Sunday. And I want to see him hit those throws really well. You know, if we saw it, that would be really interesting to see, just to see if really McGloin can make those. So, I mean, he made some great throws when his receivers were pretty open. On the run, that even the throw just before the half, where it was kind of underthrown, would have been a touchdown. He threw it on the run, and it was still a really accurate throw for where the receiver was. But just for a thing outside of just McGloin, with just the Guardians as a team, they need to run the ball more. They gave up running really quickly. I mean, I think that against the Vipers, that's okay, because the Vipers secondary was getting destroyed that game. Even though you might not see it in the stats, the Vipers secondary was not that great at all. The game was just, I don't know, it was kind of a quick game. But the Vipers, you know, their defense wasn't that great. So in terms of running 10 pass plays in a row, that's fine against the Vipers defense, but you go up against the second best or whoever the best defense is in the XFL, you can't do that. They have to learn to commit to the run, even if it doesn't work, because they did not run the ball a lot. They had less than 60 overall total rushing yards, And they didn't have a ton of yards overall, but it was very unproportionate from passing to running. And I think they need to focus on getting that run game going, and maybe even not just getting it going, but showing that they're going to commit to it, because that opens play action. It just makes it easier for McGloin and that passing offense to work if the defense is worried about the run game as well. McGloin had a great run outside to end the half. I already talked about that, but I also liked his ability to escape the pocket on the play, which is another thing I wanted to talk about. It was a big difference that I saw between McGloin and Murray for the Vipers quarterback. There were two Vipers quarterbacks that were kind of switching in and out, Flowers and Murray. But Murray, he tried to escape the pocket a lot of times when he didn't need to, and the difference between him and McGloin was I loved that he kind of he stayed in the pocket when he had the chance to. He didn't force himself to roll out. And when he did roll out, he was great with his decision. All game McGloin was great with his decision making. And I don't mean to make this just a whole video on the quarterback of the Guardians, but the majority of the offense was focused around what McGloin could do, and I think he played a great game for a first game. I think he played a great game. The Guardians' defense was stellar. They capitalized on turnovers. I think they had 3 turnovers throughout the game. They had 2 interceptions in the first half and a fumble recovery in the second half that actually resulted in a touchdown. It was kind of the icing on the cake for the Guardians. It was the touchdown that kind of put it away. And that Guardians defense was really good in the red zone. Right down near the goal line, they held the Vipers out. The Vipers had 3, long drives that were, 6-7 minutes long, where they kind of marched down the field, got all the way inside the 15, and then went 3 and out and couldn't turn it into anything. The Vipers had 3 red zone drives and 3 points to make of it. So, just looking off of that fact, it's like the Guardians defense played great in the red zone. They didn't play amazing in terms of getting a ton of 3 and outs, but they played great in the red zone. They held the Vipers from getting points, and honestly, that's what matters in the league. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Patriots defense, the Guardians defense, because the Patriots defense this year, it wasn't that they necessarily, against the bad teams, yes, they did, but against the better teams, like the Titans, it wasn't that they necessarily got a ton of 3 and outs. It was a simple fact that they kept you from scoring a touchdown in the end zone, because all of a sudden you're scoring 6 points instead of 14, and the Patriots are scoring 14, and that's kind of one of the ways they jump ahead, is they just keep you from scoring touchdowns. And if the Guardians defense can continue to keep the opponents from scoring those touchdowns and having that great red zone defense, it really helps take the pressure off McGloin, because the Guardians, I don't think they were behind the entire game. And honestly, it seemed like the Guardians were controlling the game the entire way through, and I'm excited to see what the Guardians can do against some other teams. The Vipers shot themselves in the foot a lot, and I'm going to be really interested to see what the Guardians can do moving forward. But those are my takeaways from week 1. My next video, which will come out at the same time as this, is my takeaways on the Vipers, and I will try my absolute best to get all of my week 1 takeaways out tomorrow, Thursday. But just keep checking in, and thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.